First of all, hello everyone and welcome to the NYC Open Data class. As Emily mentioned, this class will introduce you to the fundamental terms and processes needed to understand NYC's open data. Additionally, we will orient you to several NYC open data tools to help you inform your decision making. All right. The purpose of today's session is to build data and digital literacy, as well as spread awareness about open data. Secondly, we'll introduce tools such as BoardStat and NYC Open Data Platform. First of all, my name is Van Sharma. I'm a Civic Innovation Fellow, batch of 2021 at BetaNYC. And today I'm joined with my partner, Avi. Over to you, Avi.
Hi, everyone. My name is Avi Severino, and along with Vansh, I'm also part of the 2021 Civic Innovation Fellowship here at BetaNYC.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about our organization. So BetaNYC is a civic organization. In 2008, we began as a meetup, and now we have over 5,000 members. We are dedicated to improve the lives of New Yorkers through civic management, engagement, open data, technology, and design. Feel free to check our website, beta.nyc. We have our monthly newsletter on technology, data, and design. We also have a Facebook group with more than 900 people. It's an amazing group. So BetaNYC has been on a journey since 2008. And here's a little bit about our history. So we started as a meetup of civic technologists and good environment. Good government regularly came together. This created a foundation of community of advocates, hackers, and leaders. In 2012, we helped usher the open data law. In 2013, in a citywide community co-authoring process, we collectively wrote the People's Roadmap to a Digital New York City. This document has helped produce several proposed pieces of legislation and several additional laws. Fast forward to 2015, we invited MBPO to do Civic Innovation Fellowship. In 2020, we had our first virtual fellowship. In 2021, we are having our Open Data Ambassadors Round 2.0. So our work is a truly collaborative effort involving and depending on hundreds and thousands of individuals. So in a nutshell, we have three main buckets of work: our talent and career pipeline, our research tools, and public engagement. This is one of our early publications as the People's Roadmap for Digital NYC that continues to guide us today. It says the fight is for the people to connect and empower themselves. Together we can make this city safer, more resilient, efficient, and smarter. We want all New Yorkers to be connected to the 21st century opportunities.
So now a bit about the New York City government and open data and how they come together. The scale of New York City is overwhelming. We have 8.6 million residents. We have about 1.1 million kids in New York City schools. And if they were a city, it would be the 10th largest city in America. We have close to 500,000 people living in public housing, and that's the city of Atlanta living in public housing. We also have about 325,000 government employees, which is the fourth largest government in the country. So speaking of New York City government, New York City follows a government system called the strong mayor council system. So in this system, the elected mayor is given almost total administrative authority and a clear wide range of political independence. It also has the power to appoint and dismiss department heads without council approval and little or no public input. The mayor also prepares and administers the city budget, although that budget often must be approved by the council. And another way to look at the system is to view it like the three branches of government. We have the mayor as the executive branch, the DA's office as the judiciary branch, and city council and community boards as the legislative branch. Next slide, please. So here we have Manhattan Borough President Gale Brewer, who introduced the country's first municipal open data law in 2010 when she was a city council member. This legislation is actually made up of several interlocking laws that give it its weight. In many other cities, open data is a technical policy or an executive order, but in New York City, it's the law. And on March 7th, 2012, former Mayor Bloomberg signed Local Law 11 of 2012, more commonly known as the Open Data Law, which amended the New York City Administrative Code to mandate that all public data be made available on a single web portal by the end of 2018. From 2015 to 2018, Mayor Bill de Blasio approved several amendments to the Open Data Law. And these laws, which include stronger requirements on data dictionaries and data retention, and responses to timelines for public requests. Here we have the NYC Open Data Program, which is jointly administered by two city agencies, which is MODA, which is the Mayor's Office of Data Analytics, and the Department of Information Technology and Telecommunications. They work with a network of about 100 open data coordinators, staff of city agencies, offices, students who are responsible for identifying, structuring, and documenting and sharing NYC's open data. The result of all this work, we have more than 3,000 different data sets, including nearly 300 published in the last year. And they are available about virtually in every facet of city life. And more than 1.5 million people have visited the open data site in 2020. Next slide. New York City celebrates the law with a birthday party to correspond with the NYC School of Data. The NYC School of Data is a community-driven conference with a focus on open data, civic technology, and design conference, as data is the cornerstone of the digital century. The New York City School of Data is organized by BetaNYC and in partnership with NYC's open data team. So all this talk of government, right? But the class is about open data. These two go together because open data mostly refers to government data and is meant to make the government more transparent, accountable, and poised for improvement.
I'm sure most of you already know what 311 service is in New York City, but for some of you who don't know, 311 is a service by the government of New York City to provide its residents with a resource for assistance and general information outside of emergency matters. It is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It is available in 175 languages. Also gives access to 172 agencies with around 3,600 government services. Also, the service is accessible via phone, web, Skype, Facebook, Twitter, and the mobile apps. So also 311 is the largest data set. That's why it's also called the people's data set. Currently in 2021, it has almost 25 million service requests. So let's go ahead and check that out. So here's a bit about a tool that actually pulls from the NYC 311 dataset. And the name of the tool is BoardStat. So BoardStat is a highly interactive tool for community boards that empowers users to discover issues and trends within their district boundaries. It also empowers board staff and members to gain timely insights into 311 data and is furthering the long-distance goal of making government transparent, reactive, and moving beyond open data access to meaningful use. Okay, so here's how you get to BoardStat. Just type boardsbeta.nyc in your search engine, Google, Safari, or wherever you're using, and it will take you to the landing page. On this landing page, first there's a brief description about the tool, and it always helps to read about the tool before we actually get into it, so go through that. And on the top right corner, we have the boroughs. We have the Bronx, Brooklyn, and all the boroughs of New York City. So you can just select your borough of choice, and you are all set to use the tool. And also for this section of the class, we'll be focusing on the borough of Brooklyn. Okay, so after you select, for example, Brooklyn, you're directed to the first page of BoardStat. So first, let's get comfortable with this layout. The purple tab on the left side is a preview of different pages in BoardStat, and there are a total of 8 pages. And this is the first page, and it's purely for setting up your filters on your data set. For example, you can select a specific community board here from the drop-down list. Again, for today's class, I'll be selecting the community board 1 of Brooklyn. Similarly, you can add filters based on complaint type, agency, descriptor, status of complaints, etc. There's one other thing to keep in mind when using BoardStat is that the filter you select on this page, that is page 1, continues to stay active through all the other pages as well. So this means that if you apply filter of CB1 on first page, then every page will show you the results for CB1 Brooklyn. All right. Okay, so after we have filtered to CB1, we can click the purple tab that says View by Community Board and move on to the page 2. Okay, the page number 2 gives a broad overview of the data. To get most recent results, the date range has been set between Jan 1st, 2020 and December 31st, 2021. Okay, so on the upper left side, there's a visualization in the form of a bar graph for the top 10 complaint types in Community Board 1. In this slide, it shows that most complaints are for noise residential, which are almost 10,000 in number, followed by noise street and illegal parking. Then we have table below the bar graph that displays the count of requests for each type along with its descriptor. And on the right, we have another table that shows the count of requests by addresses. If you notice in the slide, the address 811 Flushing Avenue has the highest number of complaints, which is 762. And lastly, on the rightmost side of the page, we have a map section with a lot of overlapping circles on it. So each circle represents an address in that community board, which was associated with some request. Okay, so next we navigate to page number 3. On this page, you can look up an address and pull up its entire history of 311 service requests. In this slide, the results are shown for the address 811 Flushing Avenue. Okay, so now let's take a look at the visualization here. First, we have date and address selection boxes. Our date range on this slide is from Jan 2010 to Jan 2021, which means that this page is showing the data for past 10 years. Always, you can set up new filters on every page, and also you can modify your current applied filters. Okay, here we also have a tree map showing top 10 complaints for the address 811 Flushing Avenue. The top complaint type is displayed in that green rectangle or square, which represents noise residential. There are other color rectangles as well, which are right next to the big screen square showing the complaint types associated with the address. And also the size of the box is proportional to the volume of complaints. So bigger the square, more the number of complaints. And then on the rightmost side, there is a line chart of descriptors spread over 10 years from 2010 to 2020. And if you notice in the slide, there's a spike in 2020 for noise residential complaints, which is interesting. Okay, so next we navigate to the page 4. Here you can explore your district service requests and map from along the range of variables at the top. In this slide, the date range and CV filters have already been applied, but you can always change those filters as well as apply new ones. This view will help you locate hotspots in several request clusters of specific issues. Bubbles or circles on the map show the different addresses of complaints. So if there are too many bubbles in that area, that means the neighborhood has a lot of complaints. And also if there's a comparatively larger bubble, that means the address has a high amount of complaints. For example, here we see a large gray circle that says that has complained of a noise commercial and number of complaints are 128. All right, so next we see, so we have a filtered complaint type to noise commercial now. And though all the complaint types fall under this complaint, a particular complaint type, we see that the bubbles have different colors, right? So this is because these complaints have different descriptors. For example, blue is for music/party complaints, whereas gray is for pounding noises. In this slide, multiple selections are set on complaint type filter. So whenever there's more than one complaint type, the bubbles or circles change to small pie charts. So whenever you hover over these circles, it displays the count of requests for each complaint type. Now in this slide, we are looking at both noise commercial as well as non-emergency complaints. An example of non-emergency complaint is social distancing. Orange part of the bubble indicates non-emergency matters, whereas the blue part indicates noise residential complaints. Okay, so let's move to page 5. All right, so this is how page 5 of BoardStat looks. This page shows you the average closing time for a ticket for all the agencies. And again, BoardStat is highly interactive. So if you can click on a specific agency, let's say NYPD, it will show you the average closing time for that particular agency. Okay, so lastly, all right. Lastly, we have page 8, which allows you to compare different complaint types and descriptors. For example, in the slide, you can see that the green bars here show the complaint for non-emergency matters, and the orange bars here show non-compliance with phase reopening. And again, the entire chart is spread over the year of 2020.
Someone's requesting a demo.
Yeah, I think I can show them a quick demo. So here you can just go to BoardStat, and it will take you the first link, BoardStat BetaNYC. You can get here by either of the ways. Either you can type it in Google, or you can directly go to boardstatbeta.nyc. Here you can see on the right, we have a link to BoardStat. Okay, so now we're on the landing page. Here you can select the borough of your choice. Do you want to select, do you want to give me any names of the borough? Queens, Manhattan, Brooklyn? All right. Okay, so here we are on the first page of BoardStat. Again, as I said, this page is purely for setting up your filters. So again, do we have a call for community board? Let's select 12 and let's move on to the page 2. So you go into the purple tab and click on page 2 that says view by community board. And here we can see firstly that we have a bar chart that compares complaint type. And for community board 12 Queens, we have noise residential complaints which are 53,000. That's a lot. That's a lot of noise complaints, guys. Okay, we also have a map section here. Yeah, go ahead.
You should filter from sometime last year, the date range.
Definitely. This should be fine, I think. Yep, still a lot of noise complaints.
What's the number at now?
Yeah, now we have 10,000 noise residential complaints. Also, this BoardStat is highly interactive. So if you can just click on a single complaint type right here, it narrows down your results down in the tables as well as in the map section. So not only see the complaints in the table here that are from noise residential with different descriptors, of course. And for the map section, you can explore the map here, or you can go to the page 4 to do it like all separately. So I'm gonna head it to the next page that says lookup by address. All right, for this community board, I think I'm just gonna take the address from the previous page. That's easier. This is 108. So this is the address with the most number of complaints. The number is 558. So I'm just gonna take this address. It says 108, 26, 159, all right. So when you go to the third page, all you have to do, again, you have to filter for the date range. Okay, I already done it, so I don't have to do it again. Now you enter the address, 108. What was it again?
It was
26, right? Okay, let me just look again.
Yeah.
the 108, 26, 159.
That's Queen's addresses.
All right, so we already have a result. You just select the result and filters that address. So you see again, the big box here is green that indicates for noise residential complaints. And we have like smaller rectangles here for complaints of noise, street, sidewalk, and then smaller voices here for vehicle noises and damaged tree and etc. Okay, so that's all about this page. Then we go to the map section.
May I interrupt for 1 second? This is Emily. If you go back to the lookup by address page,
Yeah.
One thing that's people find useful about this, especially if there's a perpetually problematic address in your neighborhood or in your community board, is to take a look at this address over time. So if Vansh was able to change the date range back to 2010, we get a sense of whether this building is becoming more or less problematic over this long history. So here we go now.
Now you can see obviously the trend map has also changed the date range from showing the results for the past 10 years. And you can see the trends more clearly now. But noise residential seems to be the most problematic matter for current year as well. Okay, so now we move to the Explore Map section. Okay, so here I'm going to change the date range back to 2020. All right, let's see. Here you can filter out with complaint type, and I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to go with damaged tree because I think it has 2 complaints. We're going to do that. And also, oh, there's a lot. Also, I'm going to go with illegal parking and noise complaints, noise residential complaints. Okay, so here if you zoom in a little bit, that all these circles or bubbles, as we call it, these are like little pie charts, right? If you hover over this one, for example, you can see that the blue part is for noise residential complaints and the count of complaints for this particular address is 2. And descriptor is banging and pounding noises. Also, the agency that addresses these type of complaints is NYPD. Also, if you go to the blue section of that same address, we have one complaint for illegal parking, and NYPD also takes care of this complaint as well. So let's move on to page 5. So since I have multiple selections here for complaint types, that's why it's only showing NYPD and DPR right now. So here you can see the average days to close for every agency is somewhat more than 8 days. It's 8.34. That's a little more than 8 days. And also, if you can want to select a particular agency like this, just click on it, and we'll show you the average days for that particular agency, which is a little more than 14 days. Okay, so lastly, we have view by monthly request. Here again, this page is separately for comparing complaint types, and if it's the same complaint type, it's here for comparing the descriptors. So you can choose, let's say, come on, noise. Say noise commercial versus noise residential. Oh, so here you can see that the green box, the green bars here, over the year of 2020, we have a lot of complaints building up through April, May, June till August, and then we have a little depletion till December. And the one that colors dark blue or blackish are for noise commercial complaints. We don't have much of those noise commercial complaints in Community Board 12 of Queens. So yeah, so that was a little demo for BoardStat. All you guys have to do is play around with these pages and tools and filters, so you get the hang of it. When you get the hang of it, you'll know what questions to ask, and yeah, you'll get the idea.
All right, so now with BoardStat on our belt, let's check out the source of our data with the New York City Open Data Platform. So we're gonna get there by going to nyc.gov/open data, and we're gonna click on the first link. So this is the homepage for the NYC Open Data Portal. On the top, there's an option to sign in. And also, if you're using it for the first time, there's going to be an option, of course, to create an account. And we do encourage you to sign in because it allows you to save and publish your data sets. So that's what it's going to look like, of course. Next. All right, among the thousands of data sets, there's countless of topics of interest, right? So you can find a whole bunch of data on the many different urban and community issues that are out there. So let's get started. So since we already started with 311, we're gonna continue with that. So we're gonna enter in 311 in the search bar. So when we press enter, we're gonna click on the first one, which is the 311 service request from 2010 to present. So this is the landing page for data sets. When you get here, there's going to be an important about page. So this is going to tell you when the data was updated, the frequency that is updated, as well as the number of views it's received. There's also a link to the data sets data dictionary, which is a document that's meant to teach you what's in the data. And then to actually access the data itself, we're going to hit the view data button in the top section there. So this is what it looks like. So this is the portal. This data set has 41 different columns and over 24.5 million rows or records. And in this view, the 311 data is grouped into different complaint types, as you can see there on the right, where it says like noise vehicle, noise residential, and whatnot. Next. So there's 446 different complaint types in New York City, and they all represent the different issues amongst the 5 boroughs. So here are the top 24 issues as they appear in Brooklyn CB1. So as you can see, we have the noise residential and the heat and other issues is like plumbing, the water system, paint and plaster, street conditions to abandoned vehicles. Next. So filtering our data is really important, and it's a way to like easy the load of the information, right? Because you don't want to like overburden yourself with so much data, you get tired out. So filtering your data is extremely important when it comes to this kind of work. So here we're going to filter to Brooklyn CB1. So in order to do that, you're going to click on the filter button, and there you'll have the option to scroll down. And here we're going to hit community board, and then the next one, we're going to make sure that we put is. And then because we already picked out the CB, we're going to put 01 Brooklyn. And we're going to check that box and press enter. And then that's going to be the results we're going to get on the left. So as you see, we have over 530,000 complaints in that CB alone. So we could get even more specific with this data. We're going to look at the Department of Sanitation for about a year ago. So this is going to really reduce the number. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go back to the filter section, and we're going to put created date is after December 1st, 2020, and then create another filter for the agency. And then we're going to put agency is, and then put DS&Y, which is the Department of Sanitation, and hit the check mark and press enter. And here you'll see the data, which was 530,000, just went down to 687 rows. So do we have any questions about the 301 data on the open data platform, or if y'all want to see a demo? Okay.
Yeah, so here's the link for the NYC Open Data. It's the first link. You click on it, and this is the landing page.
For the search, we have a question. Does Department of Animal Control have data for separate animals called into 311?
Yeah, let's check it out. We say animal control, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's just put in and see. Hopefully, oh, it says 0 results. V unfortunately does not have animal control data, but I think if we provide some filters on the left-hand side, we should be able to see something. So for animal control data, does anyone know what agency or handles that, or how should I?
I'm gonna look that up right now.
Yeah.
I think animal care and control.
So it should be under the categories of city government, health, environment.
Probably health,
environment,
probably.
I think. Let's check environment.
So we do have, there is, for example, there's like the Central Park squirrel census. We have dog bite data.
We asked about dog poop in the chat.
Someone asked about dog poop. Actually, why does that sound familiar? I believe that there might be a group who is trying to get data regarding dog and dog-centric data regarding poop and dog parks, etc.
Yeah, and dog names. Yep, totally.
Should I type in dog and see?
Yeah, do it.
Dog bite. You got it. Let's go with the dog
There
bite.
we go. Dog
All right.
bites.
You just have to be creative with your searches. You can type in animal. You can type in the specific animal that you want, but you just have to get creative with your search entries. There are a lot of records.
And if I may add something, this is Malgosha from the Mayor's Office of Data Analytics. Sometimes it's actually helpful to Google NYC open data and then the search term that you're looking for. Sometimes the Google search term will be slightly more effective at picking up the actual content that you want to be searching for. So another hack that I would recommend.
All right, definitely. That was a
Thank you.
great idea. Okay, so here we have the about page of this data. As you can see, the updated frequency is as needed. This was created in April 23rd, 2018. Last update was February 13, 2019. Here is a link for data dictionary as well, but keeping the time constraints in mind, I'm not gonna do it right now. I'm just gonna head into the data itself.
Yeah.
So click on view data and it takes you to the data. All right.
So there we go. So here we're gonna hit filter, which is next to that little blue bar.
Yep.
So we're gonna hit add a new filter condition. So let's do, let's do by date.
Let's do by date. All right.
Yeah, let's do after. Date of bite. Yeah.
Got it.
Is after that we just do one date. Let's do January 1st, 2018.
Okay. All right. So let me just go like that. That's not correct.
Yeah, 2018.
All right. And
Press
then,
end. Yep.
oh, there are no dog bite cases for January 1st. I think because
Because it's probably not
Yeah.
hasn't been updated in a while. So sometimes you're gonna have data sets like this where if it hasn't been updated in a while, we're not gonna get any cases. Unclick the check mark.
Yes, and just for showing you the filter option, we can always filter it by, let's say, breed. Okay, and breed is, and also when you type in your filter condition, make sure it actually matches exactly the way it is in the columns.
In the columns,
For
yes.
example, if I want to go with Husky, type Husky in all uppercase and check mark. So now we have filtered data set that's showing 21 rows, and every breed is Husky. We can see we have his age, 6 months, we have gender. I'm so bad with dogs because I don't own a dog, so I don't know what's U and what's M. I don't know. Okay, we have boroughs of Brooklyn and Queens. What we can do, we can also add another filter condition by borough.
Just to interject for a second, guys. So sometimes you're going to find that you may not understand what the table is showing you, and you're going to want to go to metadata.
In the metadata, we guys going to let you know how to do it. Because if you're going to a data set for the first time, it's always helpful to know it beforehand before actually diving into the data set. Okay, so let's see, I've added another filter for the borough, added is, and then I gotta add, let's say, Bronx, exactly the way it is. I'm just gonna click check mark. And now we have over 1,500 rows. The exact amount is 1,757 rows. Now,
and just to interject real quick, all of these data sets you could actually export. This is where filtering is really important because we have really large data sets. So unless you have the software to utilize that, you need to filter the sets so that you can actually export it. And there's different, varieties of ways to save them. So if you hit export over here in that light blue, so here you'll see you could download the copies in different formats.
Yeah, we have CSV, we have for Excel, we have JSON, XML. But yeah,
And
just play around with this tool as well. We have filter visualization tools. But
someone actually wants to see the visualization.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so you hit visualize and then you go to launch new visualization and we'll take you to a new tab. I will ask you to sign in, but I'm not going to sign in for now. Right. Okay. So usually it suggests actually what kind of chart is appropriate for kind of data, but you can do it by yourself as well. Like here, dimension, you got to add age or borough. And if you're a tech savvy, you can do it as you like it. You can have a lot of visualizations. We have this bar chart here. We have this column chart. We have pie charts. And also you can export them as well.
If you hit under the second page, under that one, on the left, where the circle was, it's fine. And then for the metadata, go back to the about section.
Yeah.
So that's where we're gonna get the data dictionary.
Yep. All right. So if you see in the attachments in the about page, here is the data dictionary. Just click on it, and it's actually an Excel file. So it's gonna download it and open in your Excel or Google Sheet or whatever data analytic tool you have. So that was all about NYC Open Data Platform.
This group is into nature, parks and animals.
If we don't have any questions, it's perfectly fine. We can always move on.
And we can always circle back to the questions.
Yep. All right.
All right, next. So this was our intro class. And if you'd like to learn more or actually learn to teach this class, you could actually sign up to be part of the NYC Open Data Ambassadors Program. Next. And then here is some of our favorite open data sets that we've been working with. So it's like the COVID-19 data set, the minority and women-owned business enterprise program, and the evictions data set. Next. And then this is the homepage for the NYC Open Data Platform, which is nyc.gov/open data. And then this is Radar. Radar is the research and data assistance request. Here, you could request assistance to search, to help navigate certain data sets around the city. This is How's My Driving New York, where you could search up your traffic violations by license plate. And then this is the justfix.nyc, which helps build technology for tenants and organizers fighting displacement. And then you can also request a data set or ask NYC Open Data a question using this link that's also provided in the deck that we shared with you. And then you can also check out the NYC Open Data project gallery, as well as share your own work. And then this is the sidewalk lifts, which shows how difficult it is to actually social distance in the city, considering the sidewalks are only about 12 feet wide. And back to Vansh.
All right, thanks, Avi. That was great. And yeah, that's a lot of sidewalks. Okay, now we encourage you to attend the other events as well that are taking place during Open Data Week. Open Data Week is a week-long fest for community-driven events organized and produced by the NYC Mayor's Office of Data Analytics and BetaNYC. This year, from March 6 to March 14, there are over 100 virtual events, plus a few outdoor events as well. So make sure you check them out. Also, you can register for these events on the website, opendata.nyc. Additionally, you can go to the link on this slide and have access to the NYC Open Data Report for 2020. And lastly, you can check out this Google document that contains the links to all the digital resources that we have mentioned today in our class, in addition to all the BetaNYC resources. And here's a link for the document, so make sure you check that out as well.
Yes, there is a question. Does open data include geodata? Yes, it does. A lot of the data sets do include lat-long data, so you can actually download your data and use and import it into different data visualization tools to produce, for example, maps. And I did see someone asked a question about importing, doing a direct download into R and Python, and someone did answer. Yes, someone did answer that. Thank you, Max, for that answer with the GitHub link.
So there's also a question about what about pedestrian traffic?
Pedestrian, yes, I do believe there is a data set on pedestrian traffic. I can look that up.
And I encourage everyone to submit requests just around data sets, like questions around data sets, through the Contact Us page on the Open Data portal. If you can't find some information and need it for a research project, that will be the best way. Obviously, after you do your own research, to be the best way to get some help for locating that data. And maybe if that data doesn't exist, then that is also a request you can make for requesting like new data sets from the city government. Just wanted to insert that.
So do we have any more questions? You guys going through it right now?
Okay, I don't think we have any more questions.
That's okay. If you don't have any more questions, then I think lastly, but if you don't have any questions right now, it's perfectly fine. But if you do in the future, you can always email us at oda@beta.nyc. And also feel free to join our Slack channel to stay updated on various data and civic events. And once again, thank you all for joining this class today. It was great to meet everyone, the team from MODA, the team from BetaNYC, and the people that we are seeing for the very first time. It was great to meet everybody. And hopefully we'll be seeing you guys on some of the other events during the, all right, go attend other events.
Thanks, Vansh. And just a final word. So yeah, this slide deck, people now have the URL, and that will just remain available for everybody, which also includes the link to that resource guide, which in and of itself contains more links and things like that. So hopefully there's multiple ways for people to stay in touch and stay engaged. And yeah, thanks everybody for doing this, and hopefully see you at the happy hour that Malgosia just talked about. Oh, we've got, is BetaNYC a beta version of Open 311? So you mean BoardStat? BoardStat is the tool that we talked about. BetaNYC is an organization.
You can, if I can interject, you can find the BoardStat tool on our website, on the BetaNYC website. I linked it in the chat, but I'll link it again. as well as other tools. BoardStat isn't the only tool that we have that we feature on our website, so be sure to check them out and check out our publications. And we also have trainings linked on our website as well. And that's right.
Yeah, and if I may clarify, I guess 311 is a data set within open data, so within New York City open data. Yeah, and BoardStat is a tool that was built to that takes the data from the 311 data set that sits on New York City open data and creates like really nice visualizations, as you've seen as part of this presentation.
Okay, everyone, thank you for coming, and we hope to see you at the happy hour.